What's up, y'all? It's your girl. I'm back. I'm back again with part three after work. I told y'all I was going to do it, and I'm doing it. So, this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing y'all part three of my prison story, Prison to Purpose.
Street Mothers Podcast.
All right, so I wrapped up my last part two with, the vision. Y'all know what? The hermaphrodite. Thank you for correcting me because I was that day old when I found out that there really wasn't a word. Y'all know us down south, we have our own little lingo, or we just don't be knowing what the heck we talking about. But anyway, the way they do laundry is, you put it's a big cart that's over in the barracks. You take your laundry, you put that in, you put all of whatever you got dirty over in the laundry basket. They take it down to laundry. Whoever the people is that work in laundry, they get your uniforms and all of that stuff clean. Because keep in mind, you get three uniforms for the week, which is 9 times out of 10, depends on which penitentiary you in, is whatever color. Our penitentiary, we wore white. So it was ninja white. I'm gonna say 10 because it definitely wasn't white. But anyway, we take that and we put it over in the laundry. So this particular day, I drop my stuff in the laundry like normal, and they wash it and they can bring it back. When you bring it back, you got a laundry bag. Drop my stuff in the laundry bag is normal. It gets washed, it come on back. I put my uniform on. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I get the itching. I'm itching, I'm scratching, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm just steady itching, and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking I'm tripping. So I'm like, okay, something ain't right, but I'm just itching up a storm. So I'm just scratching everywhere. Finally kind of calmed down a little bit. So I try to lay on my bed a little bit because you can lay on top of the covers. You can't get under the covers. Once your bed is made that morning, ain't no more getting up under the covers. But you can lay kind of on top of it. So, okay, I'm laying on top of my bed and I'm like, damn, I'm itching. So I still haven't stopped itching from a little bit earlier, but it wasn't as bad. But now, okay, this is something different. My lips start swelling up. So I'm like, now I'm feeling like I done had lip injections. So I'm steady doing, and every time I do it, I feel them getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Boom. So now I'm like, damn, I'm feeling my lips. And I fool around and do this. And I notice my nose is swelling. I'm starting to not be able to breathe a little bit. The breathing kind of started getting like slowed and it was like harder to breathe. And I'm coughing and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I put in me a medical form. I could never give a response. Medical is the sorriest medical team that they have in the penitentiary. So I put in another one. Still no answer, no answer, no answer. Now, after the second day of me having this allergic reaction to where my nose is swollen, my lips are swollen, and now I'm starting to feel my throat close up, I calls my sister. I call home. She called the penitentiary. She go ate whatever she want to go. But my sister real bougie. And so, she put that little lingo on them and baby, she got them told. Cause honey, when I tell you I was Jackson, come on down to medical. Boom. I was down up in medical. So, okay, I go on down in medical or whatever, and they give me my little stuff. I don't know what was used in that laundry detergent, but something different was used from when I first got to the penitentiary. Now they got me assigned to where I get my laundry washed separately and I get it washed however they wash it. But I was glad because guess what? I ain't got to get it washed with the whole penitentiary. So, okay, I looked up with that one. I had to, take one on the chin for it, but I got my clothes washed separately. All right. So one day we got a fleet of new girls that came in. They had their green trunks. They was coming on in the barracks. Now, we had just, like I told y'all, we used to just make fun. It wasn't anything to do, so we just created fun. So we had all made a pact to where when the new girls come in, we was gonna like pick at them and mess with them. So okay, me and my little crew, we all chilling or whatever, like we used to do in the back, like you know what I'm saying. We just big boy kicking it. So boom, we see these girls walk in. It's 7 of them. So They got their green trunks, and they come marching on in and marching on in. So soon as they walk in, we get to hollering, fresh meat, fresh meat, fresh meat. Now, really, it don't even be going down like that, but we just want to pick with them and scare them. So they all looking scared and intimidated. Same way we probably was when we first got there. But, they looking all scared and intimidated. So, we just want to make some fun. So it was fun. So, okay, they come on in, they start going to their bed area. It was one particular girl that stood out. Yeah, the reason why she stood out, well, I'm going to bag up some. I ain't going to say why she stood out first, but baby, she was scraggly. When I say scraggly, I'm talking about from the hair on down to the feet. I don't know what size shoe she wore, but they looked long, straight, and skinny. Okay. And her hair was real thin. So anyway, she walked in with the crew. Now it's a mixture, black, white, a couple Mexicans, it's a mixture of races that come in. So I ain't gonna when I was in the penitentiary, I would have thought it would have been more black people, but where we were housed at, it was like a combination of both. Well, rather, but more black and white people was kind of evenly spread apart. So, okay. Anyway, they come in or whatever, and they go on and put their stuff on their bed, and now they make their way over there to the sink. Now, this scraggly girl that I was telling y'all about, they all came from whatever county jail that they came from, but she goes on to the sink and she started washing her hands after she done touched on every dang on thing it was to touch on. But she washing her hands or whatever. So she washing her hands. We get to noticing, baby girl got big lesion bumps and pus bumps and sores and whatever all of that collage of things that was going on with her. They was all over her. So we like, no, 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 no. What's up, baby girl? What's going on with you? So I'm hurting, and that was enough for us. We instantly told the guards, hey, y'all gotta get her up out of here, or she's getting whooped up out of here. So we had to get her gone. So they was like, nah, she gotta be in this barracks and all this mess, and because she just came from the county jail and it's like the intake barracks, and we don't care about none of that. She got to go. This girl started touching on the walls, the bathroom, showers, sinks, the walls that surround. Baby, we not doing none of that because So okay, after they seen everybody in the pie was ready to ride to get her up out of there and go and whoop her down, you know what I'm saying? Because she got to go, you know what I'm saying? Or y'all gonna take her out. They went on and took her out. So okay, that was the end. She left. So about a week later, when I tell y'all, baby, we had an outbreak. I noticed a bump up under my arm. And when I tell y'all, it was hurting so bad. It was hurting so bad. And everybody started breaking out with these pus bumps. So, and they wasn't like, she had a lot of them. I don't know what she had. I had one. And, most people had one or two or something like that. But this girl was full of them. But anyway, so I'm putting in medical requests. Once again, no medical. Medical request after medical request. No medical. So I do what I do. I call my sister. And when I tell y'all, she got on them. Because see, my sister, she's 10 years older than me, almost 10 years older than me. So I grew up with her being like my mom. My mom worked all the time. So it was like she raised me. But until she went to college. But anyway, yeah. So she called up there and got on them and once again threatened them with their health department. And they wasn't trying to hear none of that then either because now we having a whole outbreak in the unit. So you got to come do something. So boom, they come get me for medical. Now I think about it, I don't even know what they did with the other people, but they came and got me, took me to medical. So what they did in medical was they lanced it, they cut it open, drained it, packed it, and gave me some antibiotics. But then they left me in medical to punish me for 2 months. Miss Starch Crunch girl, she didn't stay in there 2 months. So why did I need to stay in there 2 months? If Miss Starch Crunch could be out, why can't I? So anyway, okay. I stayed in there for 2 months, which once you take your antibiotics and they did all that, you really straight. So they just want to be asses. And when I tell y'all the way medical is set up to where it's a room. And in that room, the phone is on the outside. So it's more like you're in solitary. Now, you in there. Now you got a little TV in there though, but the TV don't got nothing on it. Like you can't watch. What station you gonna watch? You in the penitentiary. They ain't doing that. They not putting the movies on in there for you. They cutting it on the antenna thing or whatever they had going on in there. But wasn't nothing to do. So I was ready to get up out of medical. So they just left me in there. And the only reason why I came out in 2 months is because I had to call my sister again to get me out of medical. So boom, I finally got out of medical. But this girl passed around staph infection to the whole barracks. And if y'all don't know what staph is, just look it up. But anyway, it hurts and it spreads really easy. I mean, like you could just touch something like we did. She was touching all over everything, and we tried to tell them we didn't want her in there, and they just still left her in there. Like, but make a long story short, like I said, the girl passed around staph to the whole dang on barracks, and she had to go. So after everything calmed down with that situation, I had remember talking to my auntie. When I first got there, I told y'all my auntie was down there with a life sentence. So she had been down there at that point for years. I think I want to say like 17 years at that point, or close to it. It was something like that at that point. So she had been down there for years. But anyway, she explained to me, like, she said, hey, you gonna have to take anger management. You're gonna get stipulated. And I'm like, why I don't want that. I don't want to take, ain't nothing wrong with me. I know how to control my anger. She like, nah, they gonna stipulate you to anger management because I had a violent charge. So by me having a battery charge, I was automatically gonna be stipulated. So when the parole board stipulates you, you have to complete those stipulations before you eligible to go home on parole. So I'm glad she told me that, because I went on to sign up for anger management. Now, anger management, I could have waited and just waited till the board stipulated me, but I wouldn't have been able to get out until it was completed. So when I went to the parole board, I took those classes and I already had them in my jacket. Let me tell y'all about the anger management meetings. Okay, so they get everybody, whoever in anger management classes, all around. So we all in this big old group. It's just like a little counseling type of deal, like a little meeting, just a counseling session. So it was maybe like about 15 of us sitting in the meeting. And when I tell you, these girls want the poor. I mean, I feel like I was in AA. I'm not BSing. I'm not BSing. These girls want to lay their life stories out on the line. And all I want to do was get up out of there, because I didn't even want to be in there. So I'm like, girl, would you just hush? You know what I'm saying? But they just kept on and just kept on and just kept on. So this is why I wanted them to be quiet. The woman used to let us leave. If nobody wanted to share, we could just get up and just, sign our name, and she let us leave. And it looked like we'd have stayed in the class the whole time. So now, we stuck. We stuck. So I'm finally one day, I'm like, I just stand up and I'm like, y'all, would y'all hush so we can go? And then everybody looked at me like, girl, you tripping. And once I kind of got to thinking, I'm like, I need this class. Woosah. 1, 2, 3, breathe. So I finished that or whatever. So in the midst of me doing my little classes and, signing up for stuff, I decided I'm going to sign up for boot camp and work release. Because a lot of the girls that I had knew from my town and from my neighborhood, well, not a lot, but it was like a couple girls from my neighborhood too that had went. And a lot of girls that I knew from the city and from around in Pulaski County. So they had went or whatever. And they was able, we all signed up for boot camp and, at work release. Now, boot camp, you can complete that in 105 days. So once you get through a boot camp, they say 90 days, but it's really 105. So once they graduate or whatever, they can go home. So even if they had a 10-year sentence, they can do 105 days in boot camp and they can go home if you are eligible for boot camp. Boot camp eligibility basically was like, you couldn't have, I ain't gonna even say all of that shit. But anyway, so, okay, I applied for that. And boom, I applied for work release. Now I applied for both of them. I preferred to go to boot camp, but I also applied for work release because work release is also a program that, if you under a certain amount of time, you can go do work release, which means you can work in the free world, earn real money while you in the penitentiary. Okay, we go on back to the unit after signing up or whatever. Now, remember, I was on host squad. I was on host squad for a while, but host squad now, that time has come to an end. So I'm also going to classification. Classification, they gave me a job. Now, keep in mind, I had applied for work release. So you don't really find out if you eligible for boot camp or not. You don't find that out right away. Well, boot camp or work release, you don't find that out right away. So they told me that I wasn't eligible for boot camp. I wasn't eligible because I had a violent charge, but I was still eligible for work release. So I went in there and I did my initial little interview with the lady in work release. So, they talk to me or whatever. Now, they don't tell you if you good or not. They just be like, okay, yeah, whatever. So, but this particular day, I'm so happy because the lady had really slick told me, she like, yeah, I'm going to pull you for work release. And I'm like, big, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy as I don't know what. I go to work that night. You know what I'm saying? I'm on floor crew. Now, floor crew, you wax, you do the floor, and you move around. Now, it's a bunch of trafficking and trading going on. A bunch. But you know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing no trafficking and trading. But it was a bunch of trafficking and trading going on because we able to move around their compound, just like the hall porters. The hall porters really the ones who really can make it happen. But floor crew can too, kind of. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how you move it. So, okay. Anyway, make a long story short, I'm so happy. I am happy that I done got approved. I know this woman finna pull me, so I'm finna get up out this penitentiary and I'm finna go to work release. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I get down there. I'm sitting on the floor. This particular night, they want us to scrape the floor with a little scraper that's like this little wide. Y'all know what a little paint scraper look like. So they want us to scrape, but it's about this wide. They want us to scrape the floor, scrape the wax up like that. So we had to do the whole hallway, but they like blocked it off in sections, but you was doing the whole hallway. So, okay, I'm like, all right, bitch. So, I'm like I said, I don't want to get rolled up. I want to get up out of here. So I'm going to do what I need to do. So I'm just scraping and scraping and scraping. Well, my bright idea, I carved my name in the floor. Well, we was finna get ready to scrape the floor up anyway, so why not? Can't it say TJ? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with me painting the city TJ? But anyway, so I had carved my name in the floor. I had carved my name in that floor, honey. And when it was big, when I tell you it was big block letters, and then I put the little bubbles on the side, and then the bubble up under the T, and then I had the J, and then I had the bubbles on the side of the J, and then that one big bubble up. It was nice. Well, the guard come down the hall. I had planned on scraping it up before she came. I didn't know she was finna come down there to see what I was doing. So anyway, she came and she seen that floor. And oh my God. She told me to stand up, get my stuff, pack it up, and I'm finna get ready to go to the hole. Had me scared because I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to go to work release. The lady done told me I done got approved. So I'm like, let me holler at you for a minute. So she like, let you holler at me. I'm like, well, can I speak with you? And she was like, yeah. So I'm like, listen, only reason why I did this is because I was so excited that I was going to get out this penitentiary. I said, I have never been in trouble, ma'am. Never. I said, my first time ever getting in trouble, I got sentenced to prison, which was a lie. But she didn't know that. So anyway, I'm like, I just want to go home. I done been through a lot. And if you just give me another chance, and we were going to scrape this whole floor up anyway, so it wasn't going to stay. I didn't know you was coming around there. I was going to scrape it up. If you give me another chance, you'll never see anything like this again. She gave me another chance. So boom, she didn't write me up. Thank you, Lord. So we get back to the pod. I did my job. I got to tell my little homegirl that I almost got in trouble. So she like, Tiffany, what did you do? I just had to tell him, like, I had carved my name in there or whatever. She like, you can't do that. Woo, woo, woo. So in the midst of us having our conversation, I'm sitting there talking to her, and in the side of my eye, I see the top of the sheets, like they just hanging all over the bed, and the girl on the top bunk on the side of us, she laying on her top bunk or whatever, but her sheets just dangling down. So you know what I'm saying? I'm like, she's sleeping all wild. That girl gonna fall off the bed or whatever. Keep in mind, we still kind of fresh, new in the penitentiary. So I'm like, she gonna fool around and fall out that bed. Baby, I seen that leg stick out from up under that other side of that bed. And that's when I realized what was going on. It was a little rumpa-dum-dump going on over there. She was dropping them curtains down so you couldn't see from each side of the bed. Baby, I was like, wait a minute. Did I just see a leg and a thump-a-dump-thump going on? But anyway, I guess I did. We in the penitentiary, so it was going down. So, okay, you got to mind your biz. So I just turned back around, you know what I'm saying, and kept talking to my homegirl about the wax on the floor. So, okay, all that ended up happening. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's just the penitentiary. I'm just ready to get up out of there. This same homegirl that I'm talking to, she's getting ready to go to boot camp. She got accepted in the boot camp. Now, y'all, I didn't understand how she got. I wasn't knocking her. That was my homegirl. I was happy for her. But I didn't know how she got boot camp with an arson charge. But here I am with a battery charge, and I can't go. But they said arson was not violent. So I guess that was how she ended up being able to go. But anyway, so we chilling. We done made our little zooms and whams. And if you know what I'm talking about a spread. Baby, we spread it out. Our whole little clique brought everything, all that little stuff, and we cooked our noodles, packed them together, put them in them Dorito bags, sent them boom, 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 set it like that, put it up under that warm towel over there, baby, bam, it was ready. The next morning, and all of a sudden I hear, Jackson, pack up. And I'm like, woo. When I tell y'all, I was like, I'm finna go. Then they called my homegirl. Now I knew what time it was. It was time for us to go to work release and boot camp. Only thing is I didn't know that work release and boot camp was housed together. We get on the bus. We head on to Riceville. Now, as we approaching Riceville, boom, 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 we going on through. We get through the country. We get on up to Riceville. We get to Riceville, and they give you your uniforms. They get you the penitentiary uniform back. They give you your uniforms from there, and they start separating. Boot camp was on one side of the building, and work release was on the other. Boot camp, they had it way harder than us. Like, they couldn't do nothing. But we could see them, but we couldn't see. Like, at night, you still house different. And they're over there with the dudes, too. You couldn't talk to them. You couldn't do nothing. Like, only thing we had with the boot camp people was, like, fire drills, meals. One of my homeboys, he was serving in there when I seen him. I'm like, he handed me my tray. He just looking like, and I was in work release. And I'm looking like, oh Lord, we is in this dang on penitentiary work release boot camp or whatever the heck we in. So anyway, I was really a little salty. I ain't gonna lie, because all them folks over there was finna go home in 105 days. And here I am. Yeah, I'm in work release, but I got to do all my time. And I was drove. I had met a few people. So one of the women came over there with me when I met her in intake. When I first got to the pen, she was the one who checked me in. When I told y'all they come in, they bring you in, they check you, look at your hair and do all that stuff. She was the woman that did that. We all used to just chill. You really couldn't do nothing really in work release. Work release was so boring. Like, I would have really rather be in the penitentiary. But anyway, I just wanted to get my check, send my money home to my kids, and you know what I'm saying, just try to get out in the free world a little bit. Because once you got your job and did all that stuff, you get to go home on the weekends. I got a dude at this time. This is my dude. Like, he handling his business. I got to sign my job, and now it was time for my box. Now, what my box was, your family can send clothes in to you. They can send some shirts, some jeans, belts, a purse, if you know, whatever you getting sent in like that. Okay, so you know me, I'm in my 20s, baby. You send me the finest things. I need my Jordans. I need my jeans. I need my Louis Vuitton purse. I need my Louis belts. I need all of that sent in to me, honey, because I'm finna crush this penitentiary. Stay tuned for part 4. Coming to you soon.